Hey guys, welcome to Jack's Treasures and What? Not Another Reselling Podcast, where we focus on live reselling. And today we have an amazing guest.
Today's guest is Kristin, A Rural Squirrel, and the topic we're going to be discussing today is the differences between Whatnot and the District for live selling. Kristin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hey guys, my name's Kristin. I'm a rural squirrel. I'm a rural squirrel on all platforms. Everything from TikTok to Twitter to Facebook to Instagram, YouTube, Dibdit, District, all those things, and on Whatnot. I'm everywhere.
I will say that Kristin does seem to be everywhere.
So how did you come up with the name A Rural Squirrel?
So I've always kind of had it in my back pocket. I always thought it was fun to say. And then I noticed that when you do say it, you say it multiple times because it's fun to say or it's hard to say. And that gets people to notice you. And then they talk about you. And then they say it again. And then it's A Rural Squirrel. So just like the old phone book trick where it was the first one up at the top. So whenever you look at your subscriptions on YouTube, it has all of them in alphabetical order.
Oh, nice.
So it started out as like, this is fun to say, but then it was like, oh, wait, this is a thing. So, and I do like it that you can't tell if I'm a boy or a girl. You can't tell if I'm like a cute little quaint little shop uptown on the square, or if I cut hair, or if I am a monster truck. You don't know. So I like all those things about it.
Well, what it's taught me is that I think we need to rebrand into AAA Rural Squirrel. I think that's a great.
We're gonna have to. We got to do something. According to Ken, I steal everybody's ideas, so I definitely would want to do that. And Kristin does seem to be everywhere because about 2 months ago, it would be 2 months ago now, she was in Nashville at the Nashville meetup where we got to meet for the second time. But the first time that I remember, because as everybody knows, the first time that I was there, I was not of my right mind because I just had surgery that day.
And I don't remember that first meet either. So
we're happy about that.
Well,
what
that's
an impression we made, huh?
Well, I'm glad that this time I was able to give you a proper hug. So that's much better. Much better. Yeah.
I know, and I love hugs, and Mike Medco is the same thing, man. When I saw him at Plains to Profit, I don't know why. I just got up and ran up and gave him a hug. I think I shocked him a little bit, but he was very receptive to that. But it was so much fun.
Not everybody is a hugger. And I forget that because I am such a hugger. I'm like, oh my gosh, come here. Just let me give you a hug. I wanted to meet with, when I was in Colorado, some of the Colorado people. So I reached out to Ginger Marvin one day and I was like, hey, can we go to the bins and meet together? This is the first time that I'd met her. And I walked up and I was like, oh, wait, can I give you a hug? And she was like, yeah. So after that, she was like, okay, you're not a weirdo. It's okay. But it does come off as like, oh, I'm so excited to see you and give you a hug. So it's probably a little weird.
Yeah, I don't think Mike even had a chance to even react.
So you tackled him. You didn't hug him.
Yes.
I'm an awkward hugger. I don't mind it. I'm just like, I don't know where to put my hands.
Oh,
I don't know what
Kristin, there is a story about this that happened. Tracy was playing pool with this one lady. She plays pool in a ladies' league, and they were playing in a match. And the person that she was playing was not somebody Tracy was very fond of at all, as a matter of fact. And when she gave her a hug, I have never seen a more awkward hug in my entire life. Tracy's arm stayed at the side and went up in slow motion and touched her back like this, and then went slow motion exactly. Oh, just one hand, just one.
Oh.
Yes, it was hilarious. I wish I would have had a video of that one.
Hi. Yeah.
Yes. But we digress. Yes. Our podcast, we should be focusing in on live reselling, which is what we're going to be talking about. Okay. So we got some questions for Kristin, A Rural Squirrel. These are some hardball questions that we have that AI made up.
Oh,
with my
perfect.
assistants. Yes,
Yeah.
except
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
first one. Except for the first one. This is
Okay.
a general question that we almost ask every single one of our guests. So people might be getting prepared for it too. But how did you begin in reselling, and then how did you find live selling?
So, I think that live selling has been like auctions. I mean, I grew up going to auctions, like, farm auctions, household auctions, estate auctions, things like that. My dad loved to go to those things. And we would, at first, it was
Oh
like
wow.
dragging us along, but I think I was probably 5. I remember going to my first auction, taking my baby
Hmm.
doll with me, and I got to like buy something. It was just fun. So I think that's probably my first introduction to maybe live selling, honestly.
Hmm.
And then I had a brick and mortar store where you rented your booth space, your antique space from
Okay.
me. So I was the
Hmm.
girl that owned the building. And there was another antique mall across the street. Mine was like handmade craft items.
Hmm.
And we would, the lady that owned that, we would sit in the middle sometimes and have our lunch and chit chat and talk about, "Oh, these vendors, that kind of stuff."
Hmm.
And she was freaking out about this new thing that was happening, and eBay was going to like take over the antique business, and she was going to lose all of her clients and her vendors, and she was really upset about it. And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So um, I went home. My husband opened his first eBay account so that we could see what it was about and buy stuff. And then I would sell things on his account,
Hmm.
1997. And then I got my own and just started. We lived out in the country, so it was kind of hard to have a garage sale. So I would sell like the
Hmm.
kids' toys or that they've outgrown, clothes they'd outgrown, just knick-knacky things. My first thing I ever sold was a Longaberger basket. So sometimes I would sell rubber stamps or baskets or false craft
Right.
dishes,
Right.
just
Yeah.
whatever we had. And that I kind of fell into that and then realized that I could um, sell a few things so the kids would have money to go to the Scholastic Book Fair or so that they could buy new sneakers or, go to
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
dance that they want to. So it was so that we had extra fun money.
Hmm.
And then when we got to Colorado and we had moved a couple different times in a couple different places, so it was really hard for me to have a career because we were following my husband's career, which was a great choice. But
Hmm.
I mean, I worked at the school, I worked at Joann Fabrics. I
Hmm.
did
Hmm.
like a lot of different things, but the eBay I could do everywhere we went. So
Right.
when we got to Colorado, I kind of accidentally found the bins. And
Hmm.
I thought I was going to a regular Goodwill, and I picked up a pair of Tory Burch shoes and put them on as an auction in 2015 or 16, maybe. And they sold for
Hmm.
$87. And I was like, oh, I can do this for
Wow.
like a job. And then I just went ham on all of it. And I had a little closet that I would put my inventory in, and then we would move it. And then by the time we got here, now I have my
Hmm.
whole nut hut and it has my inventory in it, and I take my pictures out here and everything. So
That
that
is
was my
awesome.
progression.
That was awesome because you're not the first person that has said that that their family, especially fathers, were in the auction business, or they
Right.
went to auctions and they
All the
brought their
time.
young children's along with them. That was also
Hmm.
Lauren and Jeremy from
Yep.
Green 13 had that same
Oh,
story.
that's so cool.
So that's
Mhm.
great that a lot of people I think don't know that. That they share stories like that, which is one of the
Hmm.
reasons why we tend to always ask that question. Because for me, I love hearing those questions that have to do with why people start to reselling.
Yeah.
Um, Job loss, or in my case, it was my first divorce, and I
Mm,
was a teacher, so I was working in schools, so I needed the income because teachers only got
yeah.
paid once a month, and it's hard to
Oh,
stretch that little bit of money
yeah.
that you get for a full month.
Yeah, I forget
So
that once a month thing. That was terrible. So
oh
when
yeah.
I was in the school, I was a coach, but so you get paid almost nothing. And then
Hmm.
so I was an assistant, an aide because I didn't have my certificate. So
Hmm.
even though I had the education, I didn't have the piece of paper. So I would
Right, right, gotcha.
a medical aide, or I worked in the nurse's office or something. So most rewarding job I've ever had, for sure. The least amount of money I've ever made in my life. They do not pay them enough. Do not pay them enough.
No.
But, so that's
I
why
coached too.
Yeah, you had to. What'd you coach?
Yeah. I was a soccer coach. I've actually coached multiple sports. I've coached soccer. I was a defensive coordinator for a football team that we won our little bracket, which was basically the little county-wide thing. And I have coached girls softball. I did that for 1 year, which was really a lot of fun because I'm not the best mind when it comes to softball, but it was a great learning experience. Most of what I coached was definitely soccer. I was probably most successful at the soccer level.
Nice. Love it. Good.
Oh, you know what we don't have on here?
What?
We don't have the turn the tables part on here. We
don't.
do have another part that we're going to be doing too. That's going to be a little bit of a surprise.
Okay, good.
Well, our topic today was kind of the differences between Whatnot and the District, which is also a live selling platform. So my question for you is, what are the biggest differences you've noticed between selling on both the platforms?
Oh, okay. So I've been on Whatnot. I just saw this on my Instagram memories, maybe, or some Facebook memories. I don't remember. I think I've been on there 3 years. When it first came out and they said, hey, you can be, try to be a seller. I applied and went through the whole, what was it? Where you had to go and take the class and you had to sit.
Yes, we did that
I
also.
What they called that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't jump right in right away. I just sort of sat back and watched, and I think I was nervous about getting all the buttons right. And I don't, I like to be prepared. And it was weird for me to be like learning on the fly. That part made me nervous. And I think it makes a lot of other people nervous too. But I think once you do it and you realize everybody else is doing that too, then it's okay.
Right.
Everybody has to start on JV before you can be varsity. So we just have to learn it. I think the shipping was okay for me. I didn't freak out too much about it. I struggled a little bit sometimes. And every time that there's like a little glitch, and there was like a glitch when I was first learning how to do the shipping, I just assumed it was me. It was my problem. It was my fault. I'm doing something wrong, but it was a little bit of a glitchy thing. And then I felt better that it was them. It wasn't me. It's not you, it's me. So that I think was the hardest part. So that made doing DibDit and anything like DibDit threads, Tiquity, polish and brush, all those things, it made it a whole lot easier to feel comfortable to dabble on it and learn all the buttons different and better. Similar setup as far as doing an auction, move it to stage, pin it, same thing. They just, different words, same thing. But I really like how, I know that when you guys have done this before, you have done like a show where you've got somebody shares the screen with
co-host.
Co-hosting.
Yes. Yeah, co-host.
Yeah. They do the same thing over on DibDit, but what I really like about that difference is when, like, if we were doing our show together right now, you would touch the screen that said whatever the listing was, random poll number 1. So I would do my random poll number 1 and I'd sell it, and then it would sell, and then I would set it aside. And then you would go and you would sell your item, but all you had to do was touch the screen that said random poll number 1. And then that listing then became your listing. So you got your money and I got my money all in the same stream, no matter who started the stream. So if we're on my channel and you sold something, you're still going to get your money. I really liked that. I really liked the co-show, co-hosting thing on DibDit threads, DibDit on polish and brush.
The multiverse.
Well, one of the things here, Kristin's mentioning all of the different platforms. The district has a lot of platforms, and she's mentioning the ones that she is selling on. So what are the active ones that you are selling on there? Just a follow-up question.
Yeah. So the only way I can kind of explain it is like when you go to the indoor mall that's close to you, there's the people that own the indoor mall. Let's say that's like Simon Company. Simon Company is like the district, but all the little shops inside, those are the marketplaces, and they have different owners. So that's what it feels like. I'm in the mall of district selling at the store of Dibdit or Dibdit Threads or Tiquity or Polish and Brush. And those are the 4 that I mostly sell on. So,
okay.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
That was very good. Which platform gives you more control or flexibility during a live show?
I'm still learning the Dibdit family of selling platform. I'm learning it a little bit better, but I think that as far as flexibility and being able to sell broader, as far as functionality, I think that district I like it that they have magic comments where you can put something out on Instagram. And if somebody on Instagram wants to buy my sneakers, they just have to, type whatever to claim. So you can sell it there, and then it takes you to district, and then boom, you've sold it. So you can
I love that. Personally, I found out that is something that each of the platform operators decides whether they want to have or not have, because we did sell some stuff through the dollar auction and they did not have that enabled. So I was a little bit disappointed by that. But.
And by the way, if you are interested in buying a Rural Squirrel sneaker, just let us know in the comments down there below, and we will make sure that you get that sneaker right there.
Only
that one
Just
sneaker.
one.
Just that one sneaker. Yeah. That's because I'm a bin shopper. You never know. You can never find the other one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Of the 2 platforms, do you find that the buyers are more engaged and chatty in one versus the other, or is it pretty similar?
No, honestly, I think that the chattiness is who's in your room, and what kind of show you have. It's, do you engage with them? Do you talk with them? Do you ask them questions? Type it in the chat, put a heart in there if you do this or whatever. I think that when you guys, and you're engaging in your shows, you communicate with your chat, you see your chat. Sometimes I literally can't see the chat. So I struggle sometimes with that and being able to communicate, but it's also really nice when you have a mod that's in there that can help you and also communicate with the chat that keeps it engaged. So I think that it doesn't matter which platform you're on. It's how you engage, or how your the people that mod for you engage with your chat. That makes all the difference. Like all the difference.
I agree. I agree. That was a great answer on that one right there. Which platform do you feel is easier for handling payments, shipping, and post-show logistics?
So I'm going to say, in my experience, it's like Dibdit Threads. The Dibdit community has been very helpful behind the scenes. The support has been above and beyond, just incredible. If I've had things where I've had to cancel sales, it's not been a problem at all. And I have had to cancel a sale because I screwed something up. So I mean, I had like a shipping faux pas. But if you go to try to cancel a sale that's already been shipped or whatever on Whatnot, I don't know how to do it. It was near impossible, if possible at all. I still haven't figured it out. So
I will tell you, in our experience, that it was very hard. We were accepted into the beta program for customer service, and they opened up a whole nother site for us, basically, where we can handle all that now. And I think eventually everyone will be transferred to that. But on Whatnot. On Whatnot, yeah. But as you know, if you're not in that, it can be brutal. We've had the same issues, like something goes wrong or whatever, and trying to get it resolved was a multi email process.
Yeah.
As far as getting paid, which is the part that we want to know about, right? It's been virtually the same. You got to get to your 1,000 to get the instant payment. And I'm grateful that I'm, able to do both on that, but it's Sometimes, whenever you have payment failed on somebody that's doing a show with you on Whatnot, it shows, bam, payment failed. Hey, so-and-so, fix your payment and then we can go on. And usually they fix it. And most of the time, in my experience, it's been that the banks get kind of weird about all of the transactions.
Happened to me.
Happens to us.
Yeah. So I think that would be better on district if we knew instantly that was happening, because you don't know until after the show is over and it'll show failed. And then most of the time, the next day their bank, bam, pops it through. Instead of being 15 transactions, it's one cart transaction. So
I gotcha.
Yeah, it usually goes through on the second day. So much better. It would be great if we knew ahead of time so that we could be like, hey guys, fix that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be something that would be helpful. So anybody from district, if you're watching, there you go, right there. There's a great suggestion for you.
I do think that like Kevin and Rod and Death Pile Picker and Dave and Carrie, I think that they all get this information and bubble it up to the powers that be over there. And I think they have a list of stuff that they're like, hey, I'd really like this. I'd really like this. And I think they communicate with them very frequently to make sure that those things happen.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I know that when we were at the Plains to Profit meetup, that the representative from the district was there. Ivan. Yeah. And he was saying that they get daily, I don't remember what he calls it, when one of the owners of the platform sends them information, that he says daily that they get those and they respond to them very, very quickly. So hopefully they will look into that part of the processing.
It was actually very cool getting to talk to him and hearing some of the kind of behind the scenes of that platform.
It really was good, being that we have sold we have done live shows on the district, but we're primarily on Whatnot because right now we have a larger following on Whatnot. But we are starting to branch out with our brand. And one of the things that we have been looking at to do is doing more shows on the district site itself. I have been suggested, or somebody has suggested, that we own a site on there. And I was like, nope, not for me. I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to drive the bus.
I don't want to either. There's just,
I want to sit right behind you and tell you where to go, but I don't want to drive that bus. It's
right.
I've owned a mall before, like I told you, a brick and mortar, and that was a lot of work. I can't imagine just having thousands of people.
Yeah, me either. That's not for me, and I much prefer what we do as opposed to that.
Are the seller fees or commissions different from Whatnot to district, or have you really broke that down?
So they're pretty much the same. I do think that there are some people in the Whatnot world that get better rates than other people.
I've heard that.
And I think that sometimes can be discouraging. But
agreed.
I also am, it's a cost of business. It's if you're going to sell on whatever platform, eBay, Poshmark, they've all got a fee. So the fee is what the fee is, and I just pay it and move forward. It's way cheaper than having a brick and mortar. It's way cheaper than trying to keep lights on and pay the mortgage on the place and to, get the parking lot restriped. And it's so much cheaper.
Right. I definitely understand that. And I know that right now.
I know that platform to platform on district, there is a difference, because I know the fees on Shop Commons, where we have sold a lot statically, their fees are very generous for the seller compared to some of the other districts.
Yes. Yeah. And I know that a lot of people right now in the reselling world, especially static, are very, very much aware of the fact of the fees that eBay is imposing right now and what those fees are. But yes, agreed. So much easier still to pay those fees than to have, or to even try to have, a brick and mortar store.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's oh my gosh. I mean, I come from an area down in South Florida where more restaurants are open and closed every year than any other place in
What a
the
tough
United
business.
States.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where, you just got to suck it up and say, listen, you're either going to pay, you got to pay fees just about anywhere you are because you're using somebody else's platform to do any kind of your reselling. They're the ones that are organizing all of this for you. And we actually thank them for doing this because it makes it so much easier now. I know that you were saying that you were doing eBay back in the day when, you were getting paid by the mail. You were getting money orders, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Coins
So
taped to a piece of paper. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It was,
I remember getting those like envelopes full of money orders. That was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
see, I didn't do that.
Shipping.
Tracy did that.
They just took your word for it that you were going to ship it to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, eBay didn't step in either.
Yeah. Now, have you guys done any live selling over on Poshmark? Because
we have not.
Their fees are a little bit more. And I did not have as much engagement on Poshmark as I did on Whatnot, but I think that there's just different kinds of people on all of those platforms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that my perception of Whatnot is that it is also evolving all the time because it's getting bigger and bigger, faster and faster. So it feels
a little bit too big at some points.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like there's a lot of people that just scroll through on both Poshmark and on Whatnot. But I do feel like on the Dibdit family of selling marketplaces, that the loyalty of those buyers over there is just different. They want to support you. They want to be there to engage with you. They want to see you be successful. And it just is a different vibe.
I think one of the biggest issues is that on Whatnot got so big so fast that a lot of people that are scammers got on there. And unfortunately, that's the way it is with a lot of platforms. That's the way it is with eBay. That's the way it is with Poshmark. That's the way it is with Mercari, Amazon, all of them. The district probably has that too, but they have the extra layer of protection that you have not only the district that you got to answer to, but you have to answer to the owners of those platforms, as you've mentioned, the Dibdit family. There are others on the district, so I don't want people to think
Knickknacks
that there
is
are
over
others
there,
on there.
and they're
Knickknacks is
huge.
over there.
Craigslist Hunter, I know, has a big one.
Craigslist Hunter and the dollar auction, all of them are over there, but they keep an eye on their auctions because of even with the growth that they're having, because Dibdit is very, very large, Knickknacks is very, very large, but they still are able to manage and say, hey, listen, we don't want people on here selling fakes and doing things like that. And unfortunately, Whatnot has become much, much better at trying to get rid of those folks, obviously, because of what has happened over the last the beginning of this year with one of the largest sellers on the platform.
Several of them won.
And so that's one of the really good things. Now, this is our final question for Kristin, and this is probably here we go with the cutter coming straight down the middle that everybody misses on this one right here. But are you ready for this question, Kristin?
No. But you're gonna ask. So.
Are you ready? Are you ready to lock down a date for a graphic T-shirt battle with Jack's Treasures on Whatnot?
Absolutely. Listen, I have a quote that I've been like cabbaging onto my favorite shirts. I've got some fantastic shirts.
Oh, so awesome.
I haven't listed them on any other platforms. I haven't shown anybody because I'm ready to battle. And you guys know.
Well, I tell you what, let's do this because I'm actually going to Oh, what I'm going to do is we're going to do this. How about we do this month in June?
Did we have some
Okay,
this month?
we do, but I'm going to talk to him because he has a meetup.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we were going to be doing Derek Fundamentals this month, but he's hosting a meetup at around the same time as us doing a battle. And I kind of want to let him off the hook a little bit because I'm gonna battle him. I'm gonna battle you, Derek. Derek, you're gonna get a battle. But
don't get off that easy, Derek.
yeah, you're not getting off. Okay. I'm undefeated in June. Right now.
Well, it's because we haven't battled yet.
Then we haven't battled yet. So how about we do one in this month, and we will talk about it towards the end of the month, and we will talk about it, and we'll nail down a day and a date, and we will get that all set for you. So we're good for that.
100% good for that.
There we go. I know that she just hit that ball right out of the park.
And before we get to our next segment, which is a spotlight on sellers here. Oh, before we get to the next segment, which is a pros and cons, let everybody know where we can find you on YouTube.
A Rural Squirrel.
Okay.
On YouTube, yes.
Okay. Do you happen to be a co-host of a podcast?
I'm a co-host. Yes, you can also find me on This Week in Reselling. That's over on the Nashville Flippers channel. We do, so there's 2 podcasts that come out. We record one time, but there's one that comes out on Thursday, the regular podcast, This Week in Reselling. And then on Sunday, the After Dark episode comes out, which is really fun because that's the episode where, you know how like when we have this StreamYard, and we get ready to go live, sometimes you have that really candid, casual conversation beforehand or afterwards. That's
like the one that we had.
Yes. Those are the things that he's trying to capture, where we're just being just real
more laid back,
unscripted, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let me encourage you to drop a little worm in Ray's ear. When Brian was on This Week in Reselling, there was no After Dark.
We didn't do that After Dark,
and Tracy wasn't included. So I'm just saying, maybe a little after dark with both of us would be kind of fun.
I think that would be fun.
I kind of like the way that sounds. Yes. Yeah. When I was on This Week in Reselling, Kristin wasn't on when I was on.
I was going to say, I think I missed all of it, which, I mean, I'm really grateful that the guys are super chill and understanding that my schedule can be kind of wonky, especially when we were traveling so much. So I miss some of the good ones.
You guys, just to let everybody, all of the watchers know, there are going to be links down there below to all of the sites that you can find Kristin on, including all of the sites on the district and all of the sites on whatnot, and Ray's channel of This Week in Reselling, and Kristin, A Rural Squirrel, will be linked down there below also.
But now for the pros and cons. What do you think is the biggest pro to selling on multiple platforms? What do you think is the benefit to that?
Oh, I think the benefit is you get a better pulse on what is kind of trending and hot and what to source a little bit better.
Ooh, I like that.
I also think that it is also good, like, especially when, like if you were a main seller on Kitizen and then they're gone, then you have to rebuild somewhere else. So I think it's also very important to not to spread yourself too thin, but to be established in a couple of different places so that you can not take such a big hit when maybe things don't always work out, beyond your control.
That's my reason for trying to force myself to list a couple of items on Mercari every month, just to keep that open.
That's
for
how I am
us,
with
we have always gone under the montage of never put all of your eggs in one basket, because anything 100%. Could happen, and it's happening to us right now with Amazon.
Yeah.
We sold a lot of stuff on Amazon, and we sent a lot of stuff in on Amazon over the years. Well, now every single month it seems like just about we find out that this is gated, 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 and it's like, okay, well, I'm glad that we have our fallbacks,
Right.
Yeah.
that we do have. So
Yeah, because if
but
you
that was
just
great.
went all in on that and didn't have
Mhm.
anything else, I mean, I think that that's the key too. Like, if you're hesitant to start Whatnot, if you're hesitant to start DibDit, you just
Or
get
district.
yourself going so that whenever the Amazon thing does happen and you do get gated on something and you can't,
Yep.
you don't have any other outlet for it, you got to keep that money going somewhere. So
Right.
at least you've got
Well,
something.
yeah. Now the con. Okay. The
Mm.
con. This is the pros and cons of live reselling. What is the biggest disadvantage or con of selling on multiple platforms?
From experience,
Mhm.
sometimes you might get your shows mixed up.
Oh, that's
my.
So I had an order that I had to one lady on Whatnot that I sent to a guy on District.
Oh
So
my
Oh
goodness.
no.
and it wasn't like I could, that's what you can't just like get this, and nobody sent the stuff
Right.
back.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And so, and then you're in Whatnot and you can't figure out how to cancel it. So you can't cancel it.
Mm.
And I could cancel it in DibDit, but oh my gosh, just the headache sometimes of the little, I need to slow down and pay attention. And sometimes you do get so many balls in the air that you just can't catch them all. So
Right.
you got to be organized. And I learned off of that. Thankfully, it was early on that I've got to be organized, or else it just hits the fan. So
Right.
you
I
do.
can believe that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So pay attention, slow down, take a breath, stay
There you
organized.
go.
And if you are not that kind of person, maybe have help whenever you are doing it, because don't not
Yeah.
do it, but figure out a way to stay organized. You know what I mean?
It's tough.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Um,
God, definitely. It's probably one of the big reasons why we have not done more on the district than we have done, because of the
Here's
fact
what I
that we were so set in our ways of
Mhm.
yes.
Whatnot and so organized with Whatnot that we throw in that, and it would be like, oh my gosh, what do we do here? How do we do this? Where do we go that? Where does this go? You know?
Yeah. I think if
And
you
there's
just
two
have
of
this,
us.
yeah, just have this table for DibDit, this table for Whatnot. I think that and I use
Right.
color-coded stickers now,
Mhm.
so I know which one is
Oh,
which.
that's awesome.
And then I think also just you preload yours. That makes a difference. When you're doing the random
We do
poll,
both.
okay,
We do both.
right. But if you are doing a whole show of just random polls, you have to keep track of the numbers. Like
Right.
you
Absolutely.
have to keep it, because in DibDit, it's not the same. Like there's not the video receipt. It's not the same.
Mhm.
You got to go back and watch the whole show and hope that you said
Oh,
out
that would
loud,
stink.
"Thanks, Jack's Treasures, for your purchase of number 17." If you
Okay.
don't, then you have to count them as you go. And remember, that one sold, that one didn't
That
sell.
sounds miserable.
That
I am spoiled to the digital receipts.
Wow.
Yeah. Those do
Well,
help.
you just
but
backed us up another month going on to the district.
Well,
No,
it'll be
seriously, it's
preloaded,
not-
let's just say.
I think that what
Kevin,
and
blame Kristin.
here's what, and Angie and I have talked about this. Actually, Kevin and I did one of my first shows. I think it was my first show. He popped in and co-hosted with me and gave me great advice. When he was selling, I was writing down on my sticker, number 17, Jack's Treasures. Set it to the side. And I think whenever
Right.
you're doing the same thing with your blue tape on random polls on Whatnot, it's the same thing. Only instead of while someone else is selling, you're just slow down. Number 17, Jack's Treasures. Okay, next one, move to stage. Next one, pin it. Now go again. You just have to. I was so worried about hurrying up and get the next one ready so that my customers didn't leave my stream that
Right.
I wasn't slowing down to write down to make sure that the customers that actually bought something.
Now,
were
able to preload the shows in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's easy. That's
Okay.
super easy. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, on to our spotlight sellers this week.
So what we do in Spotlight Sellers is we're going to we look at three sellers that are at various levels of growth. We have a new seller that's generally they have under 1,000 sales, under 1,000 followers, or something like that. Then we have a growing seller. They usually are somebody who's under 10,000 followers. And then we have our more established sellers that are like that. And we like to shout them out on our show. We do try to pull some from the district and other sites, as we don't really sell a lot on Jamble. As a matter of fact, we've never sold on Jamble. We've thought about it, but just everything that I hear is a lot of horror stories about what's going on over there. I'm not trying to dissuade anybody or do anything like that about it, but we don't have any experience, so it's hard for us to do that.
This week, they all are from Whatnot, though.
Yes, they all are from Whatnot this week. And Kristin, you might know some of them. You might not.
Well, I've got my app open so that I can look them up and follow them when you say.
Okay,
awesome.
Our first one is our new seller this week, and he is brand new. I think you said he had 4 shows so far.
Yeah,
four shows. His name is Jake, and his username is Starbuckster.
Yes.
And he was at the Nashville Reseller Meetup.
He was. And very good friends with Scott.
Scott's a bearded picker, yes.
Yeah, I recognize the picture. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. He has 204 followers, and he sold 21 items, and he mostly does Starbucks merchandise.
Yeah, and has done very, very, very well with it on other sites, and has now dipped in his toes in the
I've heard him talk a little bit, kind of like us, that he had things locked down on Amazon. Mm-hmm. He was selling Starbucks on Amazon. They locked Starbucks out for him. So now that's one reason he's very into trying to get Whatnot going.
If he was a barista in his previous life.
I think he was, actually, because I was as well. So I found that very interesting.
Not me. Our growing seller is somebody named Tracy. Her name on Whatnot is called Vintage Thrifters, or Vintage Thrifter. She is an everything seller. She was part of the graphic tee battle that took place last September. She was also at the Nashville meetup with her friend Dottie, and she is my second favorite Tracy in the world. We were lucky to go up and see them 2 weeks ago and do a yard sale with them in Tennessee with Dottie and Tracy. They actually let us stay in their trailer.
Yeah, in their
camper. They had a camper on their. They had a warehouse, a 3-bay warehouse. They let us sell out of one of the bays of the warehouse, and this was during one of the highway sales called Antique Alley. But Tracy and Dottie are two amazing sellers. We absolutely love her. And we actually spent 5 hours in a hot tub with them. After one of the, what was it, like, this is our After Dark episode of
there might have been a little bit of drinking involved. I won't.
Just a tad bit.
I just bookmarked one of her shows, so that's awesome.
Yes, she is awesome.
Yeah, you'll really like Tracy.
And then our established Whatnot seller this week is their username is Mr. Ornament. Mm-hmm. It's Lauren and Steven. 99% of the time it'll be dealing with Lauren. Mm-hmm. So I always call her Mrs. Mr. Ornament.
Unless you're doing a local pickup. If you're doing a local pickup, you'll be dealing with Steven because they are really close to us. Literally about 5 miles away.
Our neighborhood.
Okay, following. Got them.
And they have 21.9 thousand followers, and they've done 9.6 thousand sales. They're everything sellers. I would say they more focus towards like vintage and ephemera, stuff like that. And they also organize a lot of trains.
Yeah, and they work out of a thrift mall, if you will, like what you were, like a brick and mortar store, where people rent out booths, which Tracy and I have done that. So when you and your cohort over there were talking about those crazy vendors,
and
listen,
more than once, when we've needed something for a particular thing, we go to their mall and we're like, "Hey, Steven, do you have a cookie jar for us?" Hey,
as a matter of fact, we got to go back and get one. We're in a cookie jar battle for Battle of the Best on a Whatnot show, and we ordered a cookie jar off of eBay, which was
Very
it just
damaged.
came very, very
Oh,
damaged.
no.
I'm never
Yeah.
one to return something, and I opened a return.
She-
I was
she
very
did.
disappointed.
Yeah, we paid like $40 for
Yeah.
it. It was like a Cookie Monster, so it was really cool. It was
Yeah.
vintage,
Oh,
but like there was peeling on it, a lot more peeling than what you could see.
A giant
Mm.
chunk underneath the lid, and it was
Yeah.
very disappointing.
So we have to go
Yeah.
back and see if we can find another cookie jar, because we're actually in a cookie jar battle without a cookie jar.
We don't have a cookie
We don't have a
jar
cookie
in the
jar
house.
right now, so we're gonna have one before the battle. So CG Boomerang Echo, don't worry, we will have one. Okay,
Promise.
we will have
we're
one.
not panicking. You are.
Yes, exactly.
So this,
So those are our 3 followers right there. They
Mr.
are
Ornament,
amazing.
I didn't know him. I've never followed them before. So one of their
Mhm.
first shows is vignettes. Those are supposed to
Yes.
be like the hot thing. I have
Yeah.
a few of those over on Antiquity, and
Mhm.
I think they're really cool. Just the whole setup is just
Yeah.
ready for you. I love those. Love that. I'm going to be in that show. So
Yeah, you definitely should. She is a lot of fun, and to see someone who's very into antiques and the ephemera and stuff, and she's younger. I'd say she's in her 30s,
Yeah.
you know. So
We've met her too.
It's very neat to see someone of a younger age into all these what I
Yeah.
consider like old people stuff.
yeah.
Yes.
It's
Now
always
our
good
next
stuff.
segment is called What's New? Okay, what's new? And we've also gone over some of the biggest things that are what's new on Whatnot. But today's is it's a very, very little small detail that Whatnot has changed that really does, in my opinion, because I see it a lot in my shows. Well, I hope I see it a lot in my shows. But if you're running a show and people can tap the screen and send
Mhm.
you hearts,
Yeah.
well, now you can really tap that screen, and what happens is the hearts explode if you hold it, the hearts will literally explode on our screen. I don't know if it does on the screen of the buyers, but on the seller side, the hearts explode, which really to me is something really awesome to see that people take that time to do that. So that's a new feature that Whatnot has done, which is just, it's actually phenomenal that Whatnot has done that. I don't know, does the district have anything like that where you could tap a screen and you could show love that way, or any way to do that?
I don't know about tapping the screen. I don't know. I don't know that I've been on it.
We all need to go on Dip
There
tonight
we go.
and see
We're
if we
going to
can
have
see
to check
what
it
happens
out,
when we tap
because
the
I know I
screen.
get these emails on them
I
all
feel
the
like
time.
we
So
should. I feel like we should go in and just keep tapping the screen and see what happens.
yes.
But I feel like they have got to have some. There's just a lot of chat, a lot of communication.
Right.
Now I got to go look in the app, and then I'll know. I'm a very visual person.
This is just one of those things where if they don't have that, you guys can get that. I know that it's fairly easy to do onto a feature. So district, go ahead and get on that. You know, we'll
give us some hearts or stars.
Or starts an explosion, fireworks or something like that. I know one of the things that we see on This Week in Reselling is when Ray and them hold up the thumbs and they get all of those features. I don't have that feature.
I'm not that fancy.
But,
he says there's a button that I can hit on my computer to make it do that, but I don't know how to do that.
We have no clue either. No clue either on that. All right. Our next segment is called Turn the Tables, where we allow our guests to ask any question that they would want of Tracy.
Of us.
Oh, okay. Of us. Dang it. Any question that you would want, and it can be any type of a question. We will
about
try to
live selling, reselling, or just anything you want to know.
Yeah.
Well, I have a lot of questions, but I'll save some of them for after the show's over. But do you have anything that that you really wish that you would have known way before you even started doing reselling in general, not just live selling, but I mean something that you would say to me or a new seller that you really wish you would have known before you started?
Wow. That's very good. See, I've been reselling my entire adult life. So that's very hard for me to think back that far. But I probably would have encouraged myself to get into like secondhand and storage units and things like that a lot earlier,
Mm-hmm.
especially when I was younger and I had more energy and things like that. I started off mainly, I was sourcing on eBay and reselling on eBay. And while it worked out great, that helped keep money on the table, or, food on the table when my daughter was young, the profit margins are not as great.
Yeah.
I wish I would have just dove in and done like storage units and yard sales and things.
Mine's a lot easier. I mean, a tremendous amount easier.
Go tell me, but I want to know which one of you, who started the reselling first?
I did.
Tracy, for us, we were both married prior to us getting married. We've been married for 11 years. I've been a reseller for probably about 18 years, and Tracy's been one for close to 28.
Yeah, 28.
28 years. So she's been reselling longer than I have. But for me, the first thing that I would do is quit looking at something that costs $1 and sell that sucker for $2. Jesus Christ, man, spend some money and do a better inventory, because I literally would go out yard selling, and the first thing I was doing is, man, I'm making a beeline to the DVDs. I'm making a beeline to the CDs, and they're 50 cents. I'm like, whoa, 50 cents. I could grab that and I'll turn around and I'll sell it for $1 on eBay. And I make no money at all and stuff, but I think I do. And stuff. Yeah. So I literally would kick myself in the pants because Tracy is the one that when we had our stores together and it was strictly static selling, my store had 8,000 items in it, and I was selling 20 to 40 items a day, okay, and making about $200. Tracy
working really hard.
She had about 1,000 items in it. She would sell about 5 items a day, and she would make about $400 a day.
Not quite.
So, but you see what I mean. I would literally just kick myself in the pants and say, quit looking at the cheap stuff. Look at the stuff that you can flip for bigger money instead of the, I know movies. That's all I did before, especially right after I got my divorce, because my divorce is what caused me to become a reseller. Is me needing that extra money. And I did what I had to do, which was sell the only things that I had, which at that time was the DVDs and things like that, and comic books and stuff like that. Now I wish I had them all back.
You can buy them. Somebody else is selling them.
Oh, I know. I know I could buy them. Believe me, I am working on it. But unfortunately, I need to sell a lot more stuff to get some of the comics that I had. Thank you to my ex-wife. Love you, dear. But yeah, thank you for that question. That was actually a very
good one. Made me actually think.
Question. Yeah.
So what's on the horizon for you as far as live selling in the upcoming weeks or months?
So last year I took a step back from the live reselling a little bit, because I think I evaluated my numbers, and for me, my time numbers are more valuable to me than just the dollar amount of it. Sometimes it's about fun, sometimes. But whenever it's costing you more time than what you're valued at, I had to step back, take a break, figure out what would be best for me to be able to continue to do it, because I really do like doing it. And I think that there is a better way to make money doing it. But I think that for me, it's going to be a lot of daytime shows.
Gotcha.
Very, very few evening things. I am prioritizing my time with my family instead of online doing these things, live shows, in trying to hustle a little bit harder and a little bit more. There's, I think, a time and place for the hustle, but for me, my hustle is during business hours. So I'm going to be doing a lot more of the plush, although I don't know a lot about plush, and I don't necessarily have plush. I don't collect plush. It's just that it is readily available. So I'm going to be doing a lot more plush shows, and if I'm
People
going to
love to teach you about plush. That's
They
one
do.
thing I've learned.
That's one thing that
Yeah.
we've learned from Whatnot. We did a Skylanders show, and I knew nothing about Skylanders.
Yeah,
But
I
boy,
wouldn't
those buyers love to tell me about every single one of those pieces as I'm holding them up, and I'm sitting there going like, "Oh wow, that's amazing!" And I'm like, after the show was over, I'm like, "What did they say?"
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't remember
What is
any
this
of
called?
it.
I still don't know.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, and with the plush, since I'm doing them live at the bins,
Mhm.
I just, dig it out of the bin and say, who is this again? What character? Is this a movie? Is this a video game? I don't even know. And they just
Right.
talk and they tell, which is good because then there's engagement and then it,
Mhm.
hopefully
And
pushes
you
things
hope you
out.
have a Chris Cajun reseller in your room because he'll tell you all about the plush.
He is the
Plush
most knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think that's for me, as far as live selling goes, I'm going to continue to do as much as I can during business hours, during
Now,
the day.
do you do lives on Poshmark, or are you strictly going to be Whatnot and District on the Didbit sites and some of the other sites that you had mentioned?
Yeah, I'm not going to do probably any more Poshmark. It was, it wasn't, I didn't like it.
You can go ahead and say it.
Yeah,
Believe
absolutely.
me.
It didn't feel like
we,
anybody was
we are
genuine.
raw. We don't ever do
Yeah.
any editing on our videos. And I told Kristin beforehand
Yeah.
that we want truth. We're not going to, we don't blow smoke up of anybody's, behind, that we
Mhm.
want truth out of this.
I like a vibe is important to me. That's where I want to
Mhm.
spend my time. And I love the vibe on the Dibdit family. I love that vibe. I love the family feel of that group. I think they're
Mhm.
amazing. That group is just amazing.
Mhm.
I like Whatnot because it feels like the party place. I like that. But there's no loyalty there most of the time. When you have your small circle, I think there's loyalty, but that's not
Right.
fair to make your small circle buy from you all the time.
No, not at
Definitely,
all.
yeah.
Poshmark, it just felt like a dog and pony show the whole time. It didn't feel like anybody cared about it at all, that you were background noise all the time. And then it just
Mhm.
wasn't personable. It wasn't, nobody was like cheerleading for anybody. It just felt like a money grab and everybody was there for themselves. And
Right.
that was my perception, and I could be completely wrong. Maybe I was just in the wrong
Mhm.
rooms. Maybe I didn't have the right people in my room. I'm sure that there are people that are very successful with it. It just wasn't for me.
Mhm.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure that there are some people that are successful at Poshmark,
Mhm.
because I know that I'm thinking right now Poshmark might be number 2 in the live
I'm
selling
not sure.
platforms. I'm not
We
positive
should
of
actually
that.
probably pull those numbers
Yeah,
sometime for an
we'll
episode.
probably look at that one time. Well, we wanted to thank Kristin for her time for
Thank you
today.
so
We
much.
definitely do appreciate her coming on and spending an hour with Jack's Treasures and talking about the differences between the two platforms and all the stuff that we had talked about. We have a guest
Let me
next
just be
week.
grateful to you for a second because
Mhm.
I haven't gotten to meet a whole lot of people out in the Whatnot world except just in their shows for a long time, and you guys have always made everyone feel like they are part of your team, your clan, your group, and you're encouraging, and I love the way you lift other people up. I'm so for that. I think that's so important in any aspect of your life. But if you're going to be doing it the way you do it on Whatnot, that is an example. Kudos to you. Very impressive. Very proud of you.
Thank
Just
you.
very grateful to be in your orbit.
Thank you so much.
Well, you know why that we do that. It's my way of giving back.
Yeah.
I knew nothing of the reselling world at all. I didn't know
The
anything about
community,
YouTube,
as far
none of
as
the
that
community.
goes.
I didn't know any of it. I could have ran into Rod or Scott or Kevin or any of them, or Harry Tornado. I wouldn't have known them from anybody, from nobody. And the way that all so many people have embraced us and welcomed us into this community with such open arms, like Ken SSK Promo having me on his show, Ray
Stellar
having me on his podcast, and I was so small and scared to death when I was doing it. Paul
bringing us on our very first raid train.
Yeah,
oh my
it
gosh,
was just something that it's my way of saying, hey guys, thank you for everything that you've done to just say, hey, look at these guys. These guys are really, really cool, and we don't even think that we are. We just think that we're Brian and Tracy. You know, we're Jack's Treasures.
Yeah.
We have a cat that we absolutely loved more than anything on this planet, that we lost, and that we celebrate by calling our company Jack's Treasures, which we will never change the name of our company to Jack's Treasures, because of that's our homage to our cat. That's the only reason why we're doing what we're doing. So thank you again to Kristin. Our guest next week, we have an awesome guest next week who's a newer reseller on Whatnot, a younger guy too, which is amazing. We just learned a little bit more about his history because we just did a graphic tee battle with him last month. And that would be Sid from Justin from Sid 90. And we're going to be having him on as our guest for the following week.
Great energy, good energy, positive vibes in that guy for sure.
He is awesome.
Oh yeah, he is very, very awesome. One more show note before that we leave. There is an upcoming event in Northeast Tennessee. There is the Northeast Tennessee meetup hosted by the Reseller Locker Room guys over there at their podcast. It is September the 26th through the 28th in Greenville, Tennessee. We are going to be going there. It is going to be just a fascinating event. If you want to check out anything like that, we will post a link down there below to them and to that one. That one's actually hosted by them and Mike Medco and Mary McQuain, who are, to me, I call them the M&Ms. I absolutely love them to death. But thank you again, Kristin, for coming on. Tracy, you have anything?
I think that's it.
All righty. Thank you guys, and we look forward to it. Please like, share, and subscribe, and check out all of those thumbnails that I painstakingly put in down there at the end of this show.